What's up, everybody? Decided to go with a video post, my first one, to mix it up a little bit, break up the monotony of having to read all the posts and for me having to write them all, type them all out. Topic of this first one is going to be whether or not the Browns should trade down with the Rams at number 6. Big story coming out of last week's owners meetings was Jeff Fisher, the head coach of the Rams, saying that the Browns would be potential trade partners should the Rams want to move back up and draft likely Justin Blackmon at number 4. Originally I was extremely high on Blackmon. I wanted him over RG3, over Trent Richardson, over just about anybody else in the draft for the Browns at number 4. But since that original post, the gap between Blackmon, Trent Richardson, and even Morris Claiborne has narrowed significantly since seeing Richardson's Pro Day on the Four Letter Network and reading up more on Claiborne. The gap that between Blackmon and those two is not nearly as big as I originally had it being. So if I were the Browns, I would definitely consider trading down to number 6, where you will likely still have the chance to draft either Richardson or Claiborne, depending on what Tampa Bay does at number 5. And you'll be getting back 1 second-round pick for sure. And the Browns should almost certainly demand that they get both of the Rams' second-round picks, the second being one they acquired from Washington in their trade, which would give the Browns 5 picks in the top 40 of the draft. Number 6, number 22, number 33, number 37, and number 39. Being able to acquire 2 more top 40 picks to draft, say, Morris Claiborne instead of Justin Blackmon, to me, would be worth it, because if you don't make a trade and you stay at number 4, they're likely going to end up with 3 picks within the top 40, and they're only going to get guaranteed at most 3 starters this year. If they make this trade, they're going to guaranteed get at least 4 starters this year in this draft. The 5th pick is in limbo depending on whether or not the Browns draft a quarterback and how high. If they go with Tannehill at 6, I would think he would almost certainly be the starter, if not from the very beginning. He will definitely have the opportunity to beat Colt McCoy during training camp and preseason. And even if not, I think he'll be the starter by week 6 if McCoy is shaky to start. But then, if you don't draft Tannehill at 6 and you go with someone like Claiborne, that gives you, they could draft a quarterback later in either the first at 22 or with one of those 3 second-round picks. They could get Brandon Weeden, who many people have talked about. They could get Kirk Cousins, whichever one of those quarterbacks they're highest on they could get, and that would most likely, a second-round quarterback would most likely be guaranteed on the bench behind McCoy to at least start the season. I would think they would say there's an open competition, but regardless of how each plays, McCoy would be the starter until any of those other quarterbacks get some time on an NFL sideline learning. And even if McCoy plays bad through the first 6 games, I think it takes at least 8 to 10 games before McCoy gets replaced in that situation. But assuming Tannehill's the pick at 6, at 22 you can get him a receiver or right tackle. At 33 you can get the other. Kendall Wright and Mike Adams would be probably the 2 most likely receiver tackle combination at 22. Should the Browns take right, they can get. There really isn't. I don't really know names of other potential right tackles at 33 or 4 receivers for the second round. That level guy I really only have focused so far on the top level guys, the first round type guys. But this draft is very deep at receiver and very deep at right tackle. Well, just tackle in general. So there will be those guys. They could even get, if they wanted to wait, they could probably get a quality guy at either of those positions with their last second round pick, which would be the number 39 pick. But any of those picks, any combination, assuming you get a tackle and a wide receiver, the other 2 picks could be used to grab a combination of any. Either you can get another receiver, an offensive guard, running back, a linebacker, which is a hugely understated need of this team, or a cornerback, assuming Tannehill is the pick and not Claiborne. And I think just having 5 picks in the top 40, the value and production of those 5 players, regardless of who they are, will outweigh the production of 3 picks that would include Justin Blackmon over, say, Ryan Tannehill or Morris Claiborne, who would be the pick at 6. Just having those additional 2 starters on either offense or defense on a team that they're saying they are rebuilding through the draft would be huge and invaluable going forward in the future. It gives them more room should they screw up later in the draft, because they have these top level guys that are going to be almost guaranteed NFL players, solid NFL players. And with their additional picks, I mean, this would give them total 16 picks in this draft, which for a team building through the draft, I mean, what more could you ask for? It gives them room to trade picks later in the rounds for future picks, which I think is something that they will definitely be doing, because having so many picks, it's getting higher picks for future drafts is something that should definitely be considered in a move that a lot of the top level teams, the top highly competitive teams do. So with that, something to think about. I'd love to hear everybody else's feedback, what you guys think they should do. Feel free to leave a comment either on YouTube itself, whether you're watching it on YouTube itself or if you're watching it on my site. Feel free to comment on the site. And definitely, please, if you read any of the other posts, start commenting. I've wanted people to start commenting, and that's been the biggest letdown of the site so far, is not much comment from the readers. I want to get into discussions. I want to get into debates. I want people to disagree with me. I love when I can disagree with someone and make my points to them. It's no fun just hearing myself talk, reading my own thoughts. I want to read yours. I want to hear yours. So yeah, start commenting. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna have a few more coming pretty soon, in addition to some regular posts. Hope you enjoyed it.